Malaysia imports a lot of items from around the world. Some containers are being used to high reusable materials, but are being banned from the country. In early 2020, Malaysia returned 150 containers of plastic waste to developed countries.
Whoever that send their waste to Malaysia, whether it's e-waste, whether it's plastic waste or whatever waste, we will send it back.
You do this not because of financial interest or because you want to make money or other self-interest. You really do this for the good of the country, but some people still scold you, but at least you still have a clear conscience.
With a clear conscience, after Yeo Bing took office in 2018, in the face of pressure from all sides, she firmly chose a difficult road. Determining the contents of the container and returning it to the country of origin is a time-consuming and labor-intensive process.
When I talk about sending these containers back, many people told them that that was very troublesome. But our officials themselves do not give up. We not only send them back, we also have SOPs in place and necessary steps that each organization has to follow.
Establishing an SOP helps everyone work together across different departments. More importantly, being better prepared for the 2021 Basel Convention to be officially launched.
With this Basel Convention, it is of course more important. What I see is what the law enforcement will have stronger and greater controls. Even though we may not be able to completely eliminate illegal activity, we still have to look at law enforcement and evaluate how effective it is.
In order to control the cross-border transfer of hazardous waste, the United Nations gave birth to the Basel Convention, which was passed as an amendment in May 2019. Simply put, before the transfer of hazardous waste can occur, the exporting country must provide advance notification, obtain consent from the importing country. Of course, it is strictly prohibited to transfer to countries other than the parties in the convention. Failure to comply will mean return shipment to the exporting country.
Because of this control system, Malaysia can consider whether we have a circular economy and allow high technology to assist in this green industry.
Recyclable reused materials are very popular around the world. Data from 2017 to 2019 shows electronic components are tops amongst Malaysia's import and export products in the past 3 years.
The top 3 sellers in retail malls in Malaysia are TV, air conditioners, and refrigerators. But have you ever thought about where these products go when they're no longer in use? There's in fact a recycling center next to a large shopping mall in Malacca that specializes in recycling e-waste. This is the intention of the industry, which hopes to protect the earth with the help of consumers.
Fearing that these economically profitable resources will become rubbish, next to the shopping mall is a lane that leads directly to the recycling center, encouraging people to bring unused electrical appliances. Since implementation in 2016 has received an unexpected response.
Because every young person is looking for the latest mobile phones, the number of discarded phones is quite high.
There are some recycling vehicles that go to our residential areas to collect them, but we're not at home or are at work when these trucks come, so we don't meet them. So I think this is good as there's place for direct express drop-off.
Grasping the predicament of resource recycling in Malaysia, this company run by ethnic Chinese has 18 years of experience specializing in the dismantling and restoration of electrical appliances. Chairman Jason Yee said bluntly that it is not easy to go. 6 dismantling production lines are all quite busy, and some materials have to be discarded for a fee.
In disposing of this electronic waste, we eventually still have some discarded electronic waste that has no economic value and are poisonous. We have to pay government-specified factories to deal with it, so our financial burden is quite heavy.
This business loses money but still has to be done. Fortunately, Malaysia's EPR requires producer responsibility, requiring home appliance manufacturers to pay a recycling fee every time they sell a product.
If it can't be recycled, though it doesn't have enough to achieve economic value, then it will not be recycled. Under such circumstances, I think the government needs to use the EPR to integrate upstream and downstream recycling.
This resource recovery fund subsidizes the processing costs of the industry, but eventually the cost is in fact transferred to consumers.
I think it will increase prices. If the government wants to subsidize it, it may be reflected in taxes. If the manufacturer has to pay, they will also add it to their cost.
While the government is struggling to promote recycling, many of these domestic recycling companies have to look to their border to achieve enough e-waste to be recycled.
One day, in addition to processing domestic electronic waste, if our factory has achieved a certain level of processing, I hope that the government will allow us to deal with overseas electronic waste.
To avoid illegal pollution, whether it is illegal factories outside the country or legal factories within the country, special geographic areas have been designated for waste processing. This allows centralized management. At present, the Malaysian government plans to establish an environmental protection park in Daerah Hulu Selangor to improve the processing of reused materials and produce energy.
Daerah Hulu Selangor is a very sensitive area because northern Selangor is the source of our drinking water, which comes from Hulu Selangor. So we must ensure that such development will not affect this catchment area.
There are not easy choices, as the health benefit of people can be affected when the source of their drinking water is cut off. And is the industrial economy really that important, or is the environment a greater concern? In fact, all these variables need to be carefully evaluated.
Tzu Chi